Today's honored and respected guest is a dear friend who has integrated intuitive approach with energy work, body work, also holistic nutrition, is a holistic practitioner, and has chosen to label her business as Eat, Glow, and Thrive. So let's please welcome Dagmara Loftus.
Hi, hello.
Dagmara.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good to have you here.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in.
Just appreciate your soul, choosing to participate, a part of our experience. I really thank you for allowing this experience to happen.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you for creating this beautiful purpose of yours, the company that has, I feel like, a physical aspect and also energetical aspect too.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah, well, I love that how you said the mind and the body, right? Because that is something we really try to focus on, is allowing yourself to be in your physical and also allow yourself to heal energetically, emotionally, and spiritually. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Oh, of course. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Well, because, it's funny. We sometimes, with certain products, we may not fully view it that way, even with, I feel, CBD, some people's belief systems towards CBD. So that is what we're trying to promote, is it can actually be good to feel good in your body and using it as a tool, right? Using it as a tool to do more work on yourself.
And connect.
Yes, and connect. And truly release.
I love that.
Yes. So, I know, Dee, that you have come from a lineage of Polish healers. And specifically, though, I just, what did, the Polish women in your life instill and teach you?
Beautiful question. So what comes to my mind, and from our previous conversation, is like the nurturing aspect. Nurture and nourish. That would be something that I took just from, even like my grandmas, nourished through food.
Yeah.
And also I feel like through presence, like a presence in this specific moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Well, I love that because you have shared before, even just the level of connectedness that you shared as a family, even having, your descent as far as the Polish men and women, even just like sleeping on the floor of your home, right? Everyone's sleeping together.
Yeah, so we were kind of talking about that when we did the live, but generally the difference that I realized coming to US is people like to spend time together, but I don't see it as fully. So when we would have some type of family gatherings for, let's say, Christmas or Easter, then the whole family would come together, and we would share that time of preparing food and enjoying food like fully for like the whole 3 days, and no one would stay in a hotel. Everyone would just stay together in one house, and let's say we don't have enough rooms or spaces to sleep, people would be just like sleeping on the couches and the floors, just for the purpose of like being together and the presence, and like the true presence, I would call it, if that makes sense. So
yeah. Well, I love how you said true presence too, because as Americans usually we say we're present, right? We might be physically with someone, but our minds are elsewhere, right?
And I feel like that's a practice, because I'm not perfect, and
no.
myself definitely, and I need to.
All do. We all do. It is, as you said, it's more of a training to ourselves.
Yeah. And a reminder too, I feel like I need to remind myself sometimes to be present, even in conversations with family and friends. Sometimes be like, okay, be here and now, be fully present with the person. And I have figures in my life that teach me to do that on a daily basis, and send me that reminder, hey, like, be fully present. And it's hard. It's hard because I feel like we live in this society, in this world right now that everything is, do everything as fast as possible. Fast food, pack as many activities and things during the day as possible. So it's just like fast, fast, fast. And being in that constant movement doesn't allow us to be present, fully present. So just reminding ourselves to slow down and be mindful and be more present.
Well, it's beautiful to hear just, what you use too as tools in your own life, because we all can falter in, allowing ourselves to drift. I like to say, start to drift, on what's coming, just kind of like, just the thoughts that come in sometimes, and we allow ourselves to just go with them a bit. And it's like, well, just bringing ourselves back into center, as you spoke about. And those techniques too, right? I love how you said fully present, because that's something that personally I use when I'm about to, even if it's like physical exercise, no matter what it may be, being fully present. Right? And stating that mindfully to myself, just to remind. So to hear, and it sounded like though you had outside influence as a reminder. So what influence is that?
Well, I feel like just people that I met on my way that were put in my life on purpose, kind of like, as friends or different figures in my life, taught me and showed me of like, hey, be fully present with me. Maybe sometimes as an example, as I would observe them and how they would behave with certain people and be around certain people. And that miracle, I would say, of the connection and the being fully present with the other person and how the other person would respond would be teaching for me, but also them reminding me, hey, like, please focus on me, listen to me, be like, okay, yes, a reminder, a lesson, I need to be more present with people. And that also allows healing. I know, it's our slogan. It definitely promotes, the message of what we all just truly need for ourselves, right, on the daily. For the viewers, as you can see from what Dee has spoken about, I personally call her Dee, by the way, it allows us to remind that everyone is on some form of the journey at different points, right? No matter how much experience we may have, we are always continuous allowing ourselves to heal and learning how to be present. Because that's probably one of the most healing experiences we can have, is being in the present, being in the physical and being present. I agree. And being connected.
Yes, being connected.
Because from my perspective or my experience, personal experience, the disease in the body, this ease, not being easy, is created from being disconnected from your body self, your mind self, and your spiritual self. This is when things start to, like the domino effect starts to fall.
Well, I love how you said domino effect, because it does affect obviously every area it starts to be. More things start to show themselves of what we need to allow ourselves then to connect to, right, within ourselves. But as you spoke about, it is more of a domino effect externally. We start to see these things literally physically manifest in our body, with people around us, whatever may be brought up as far as certain situations that we're attracting into our lives at the time. So it starts to remind us that, okay, you know what, I need to really focus on this area and get more in touch with it and allow myself to connect to its purpose of why it's here. It's teaching.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Yes. Because it is just all for lessons.
I agree.
And I feel, Dee, that's where I really wanted to just speak about, and if you can explain the story of what it took to get to the U.S., what freedom enabled that?
Well, I feel like I've been always kind of just, as I call myself, a free spirit. You know, in many different ways. I was searching for freedom. So, where to start? I would just say that at a certain point of my life, I just felt like I need to get out of the cage. I need to get out of things that were limiting me, people who were limiting me in a way. And I always felt like I was just kind of, you know, meant to travel. And, you know, when I was 12, I was reading books about traveling and jungle and just different cultures and different ways of living, I would say. And even like shamanism came through. So yeah, I knew what kombu is when I was 12, wow. Which is kind of funny to think. And I was always fascinated by that. So I did start to travel. You know, I started with doing different exchanges kind of around Europe, hitchhiking, and just following my intuition, what I would call mostly, you know, just I felt, you know, whenever I felt like I didn't belong somewhere, or I felt like I was being called to be somewhere, but then when my time there would be over, I would be like, okay, I need to go somewhere next. So I allowed myself to follow that intuition, which back then I didn't know what I was and how to use it, obviously. And yeah, I just found myself in US, and I would say, yeah, following my intuition was that my journey, you know, to how I found myself in US.
And it sounds like that there was a little bit of little Dagmara in there, as far as the leading of intuition and trusting. So how did little Dagmara, you know, come through for you for integration?
So I just always feel like, you know, as a child, I was, again, very like free-spirited. I was always living my life a little differently, and I always felt a little different than other people. And I couldn't like pinpoint it at that time, but I would say, you know, I was a very curious person. I was always like willing to learn a lot, and I was always like just wanted to put myself out there, although I was shy, but I had that like I maybe see myself as like a little explorer. So that's what like pushed me out there, and I was always like open-minded, maybe to trusting too much, which I feel like I used my intuition at times, because I had a couple of interesting situations that could have, you know, ended up bad, but then my intuition kind of saved me from that. And again, like, I didn't know how to use it before, or what I was, but what that was, you know, what that intuition was. I was just kind of listening to my inner voice in a way. I'm like, okay, there is a different way, not here, let's try here. Like, yeah, just like exploring. I would see myself as just like a little traveler, I would say.
Okay.
So I feel that all together, my curiosity, mostly, I would say, I was just always very curious. Just led me, you know, on that journey, and to continue to explore and to continue on the journey that brought me here, and to brought me, you know, to where I am right now and who I am right now, and allowed me to kind of on the way start my awakening journey. But I kind of feel like I always was around just different people, you know, talking to me about different things in terms of like energy or Ayurveda or like healthy living or like spirituality. I was just wasn't aware. I was curious, but I was like, okay, maybe it exists, maybe not. And I was kind of always around that, but I, let's say, maybe wasn't fully myself. And now I feel like I'm more myself. I still have a long way, but yeah.
Well, and it's beautiful to hear, Dee. So, you know, you explained as far as, you know, what your lineage taught you with the women in your family as well, the nurture, you know, the care, also, you know, just even just the Polish descent, what you guys, you know, treated with family and connectedness, and that being a big thing for you, you know, to be present and actually with people, connected, you know, and then alluding into, little D, you know, what, you know, little D taught you, and helping you to come here to the U.S. Because it did, you know, it took a lot of courage to come here, right? Even though sometimes we don't, you know, see that in the moment when we're doing it, it is reminders that that did come from probably a little bit of your little self, your childhood self.
And that was a huge coincidence for me, just to find myself in the U.S. and later on deciding, okay, this is the place I'm going to live. Which again, everything happens for a purpose, and now I see why and why I'm here and why I'm connected to the people that I am. But yeah, it was just you know, again, intuition played a huge part, but it was a huge coincidence and never kind of like a purpose of mine. And back then I was just, again, in that exploring mode, that curiosity, that traveling, that like me not having enough of the world. And I wanted to see more, explore more, obviously. And now, you know, I see things from a different perspective. Now I see, oh yeah, it took a lot of courage. It is hard. It is, you know, it's not easy to speak, you know, 2 or more different languages fluently and like daily, you know, speak Polish, English. My English is not perfect, still learning.
Hey, you sound great though. You do.
Thanks.
You do.
And yeah, the accent, a component, and just, you know, coming from a different culture, being brought up differently, or even like for me, the huge part was adjusting to food here.
Yes. Well, that was what I really wanted to just, you know, I know you personally, you know, you deal with your own, you know, self-Reiki and you do your own, you know, healing type of energy, obviously with energy, so you can, you know, feel different energies. And what kind of energy comes with homemade food?
Oh, as my friend calls it, the highest.
Oh, the highest, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I see good quality food, organic food, you know, often people would ask me like, why do you invest so much money into this food? It's organic, it's a scam, don't, you know, why do you buy this food? It is the highest you can get. Energetically for yourself and physically for yourself. So if you are able to at least, you know, nourish yourself with those types of high energy foods, high vibe foods, at least a little bit, you're giving yourself like a what's that oh my gosh, I forgot the word. Foundation.
Yeah.
Foundation, that's the word. Of, you know, a first pillar of health, pretty much, that foundation. So yeah, I associate it with the highest. First of all, homemade, you know, you putting love and energy into the food and creating it, you know, and being mindful of the ingredients that you're using, and then again, using that organic, you know, high vibe ingredients, like the highest you can put.
Well, that, you know, too, I feel like what you spoke about as far as with people, you know, kind of outside influences, sharing their own personal belief systems or opinions. And I do feel like there is a resistance with allowing yourself, you know, that nourishment to the body, right? People want to put a price to their, you know, their own health. And it's like, that's interesting just because, you know, like you said, it's the pillar, it's the foundation, it's how we, you know, we need food to live as well, right? And to be physically strong, mentally strong, it is where our nutrients come from. I mean, it's truly, as you said, the pillar. So just to, you know, I feel like a lot of people experience that. I've personally experienced that when, outside influences are, you know, trying to say, ask me questions of why or project their own belief systems. And it's, once again, you know, for the viewers, it's truly for you, right, in your own experience and how it makes you feel. And as you said, you know, putting the love into a homemade meal, right? There's something so sacred about going into the kitchen and allowing yourself to connect with the food. And further with that, Dee, it's what does the kitchen symbolize to you?
Nourishment, and it's going to be a lot of nourishment in our conversation, because nourishment is so healing, and nourishment can come in the form of many different things, you know, food, presence, as we spoke, you know, touch, you know, water, community, sleep. You know, there can be nourishment in many different forms, which is so healing. But yeah, that's what first comes to my mind. And then it is also, you know, a place where the community could gather and, you know, could cook together. Yeah. You know, the family can cook together, or friends can come over and cook together. That is also very healing. That is also very therapeutic as well. If people, you know, struggle with anxiety, you know, high stress, even depression, just coming to the kitchen and allowing, you know, to channel that maybe in a way negative energy and transform it into a positive energy and creation can be huge and healing too. So I see it in that way too, as, you know, a place for the community to gather. And place of creation.
Well, I love it. You know, it's sharing too, Dee. I love how you shared about the creation aspect as far as your creativity. Because you see Dee on her Instagram, you'll see it. We'll link it in here, but you know, we'll plug it in. Dee's Instagram is full of so much life and love, and you feel it in her food, right? There's so many cool creations, and that was where, you know, just really I was going to, you know, ask you too of, how does your creativity come through for you? Like, when does it spark, right?
It sparks the most when I'm just being in a moment and not plan, just be spontaneous. This is whenever I try to, you know, now people would tell you, like branding people, whatever, marketing people would tell you, you know, oh, you have to plan. This day you're gonna post this and create like an agenda. Never works out for me. I always just, you know, I mess the meal up, or I mess the presentation. When I allow myself to, you know, I would say in a way, you know, channel my true self, or just be spontaneous, this is where my best creations happen. And even sometimes, you know, I cook for family, friends, for birthdays or anniversaries or something like that, and I would just feel a low pressure of like, oh, I need to deliver. I always mess something up.
It's like when we, you know, do like sessions or whatever it may be, right? Yeah. When we put the pressure on ourselves, I could speak, you know, from personal experiences. It's like that, like you said, that natural state of flow in channel. When we're just completely relaxed and in the moment and enjoying, what comes through. But when we start to put the pressures on ourselves, that's when there's usually hiccups and we start to feel like out of alignment. And so truly coming from a place of love and healing within yourself.
Yes. And just enjoyment.
Right? That's you know, simply to just enjoy like what you're doing. We've talked about presence a lot, but not allowing yourself to, you know, be in the future as far as, you know, really truly being present with your food and your meal and connecting. So what does Eat, Glow, and Thrive mean to you?
As a name or as my creation?
As a vision.
As a vision, yes. So I do really just kind of want to connect, you know, food with energy work and, you know, nutrition, as you would say, with energy work and with all the other wellness aspects. Because, you know, as you mentioned, I'm a body worker. I started my whole journey of, you know, my wellness journey and my professional journey as a body worker. And from my experience, you know, it all is, I see, you know, my mind, body, spirit being connected. And like a balance needs to exist at each level, just, you know, so your body can fully be in a balance, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So usually, you know, when people would work just with food, there is a disbalance on the other plan. balance to the full, to each level, if that makes sense. Because I mean, usually, you know, as you mentioned before, what I realized from my practice, and I mean, there are books that there are books which you know, talk about that, and other practitioners who talk about, you know, usually it would start on an energetical plan, on an emotional plan, and then it would manifest in the physical body. And you know, you mentioned that too. So my intention is to integrate it all together and bring also awareness, and you know, I guess teach people and allow them to see all of those levels in themselves, and also not being scared, because you know, as some people might associate the spiritual level in a negative way, just because of certain stigmas and certain things that are just not true and are fear-based.
Yes.
So yeah, just normalizing things and talking about, hey, like, your emotional health matters, your spiritual health matters, it's very important to balance your energetical body, and it's not a woo. It's actually a, you know, a science, and you know, people talk about that in a scientific way. There are researchers, you know, who do different studies about that. There is, I'm just throwing some random names, but like there is this Stanford professor Tiller, you know, who does this whole research about subtle bodies, and he talks about, you know, energy and how does it work, and how we are actually, you know, connected with ourselves, but also connected with other people, and connected with the source or God, whatever you know, speaks to the listeners the most. Creator, God, universe, it's all same thing, just different names for us people to be able to understand a little more. But yeah, just yeah.
Well, that in itself, Dee, I mean, it's incredible to hear, you know, what it's taken you, because it's like the Eat, Glow, Thrive feels as an integration of what you've learned since childhood, right? About yourself, with your family, as far as the lineage. Thank you, beautiful souls, for choosing to tune in and listen to this Fusion Wellness TV interview with Dagmara Loftus. Dagmara's interview got cut a little short, and we do appreciate your support, patience, and understanding while we bring forward more of ourselves and also this network. This broadcast has been brought to you by Fusion Wellness. We are a CBD isolate-based bath, body, and wellness products brand, and we are rooted in truth and intention. It truly came from a place of a heart-centered place, of my own personal life journey with dealing with different substance abuse addictions, specifically opioids. Also alcoholism, anorexia, bulimia, and consequently also to a lack of connection to myself. We promote as a brand, allow healing is our statement, and we truly want you to allow yourself to heal on whatever part of the journey you are on. If this excites you and you want to know more, please go to our website, www.fusionwellness.shop, or you can also reach me directly at fusion_wellness_co, and that is our Instagram page. So we love you all, and we just hope that you keep allowing yourself to heal in whatever form that may be. We are all on different parts of the journey at different time, and we thank you for choosing to be a part of this planet and incarnate at this time of being human.